Hello, and welcome to my channel. This audio is a narrated reading shared with fellow novel lovers. All rights belong to the original author and publisher. No copyright infringement is intended. If you enjoyed this chapter, please like and subscribe for more chapters. Now, let's begin. A Lady's Tranquility. Story of Kunning Palace. 宁安如梦. Author, Shi Jing. Chapter 2, Yen Lin. She was reborn, 18 and a half years old. But neither at the beginning nor after everything has happened. When she returned to the capital at the age of 14, she began to disguise herself as a man, pretending to be a distant cousin of Minister Jiang, and went crazy with Yen Lin around the capital. In September of the year when she turned 18, she was summoned to the palace to accompany Princess Luoyang. In November of the same year, an incident occurred in the mansion of Marquise Yongyi. Jiang Xuening recalled vaguely that Yen Lin was present in her youth. With Yen Lin, she was not afraid of anything. The young man was born into the military family and had spent some time at the frontier. He was full of vigor and vitality that most men in the capital did not have. He was dressed in fine clothes, rode a horse, and carried a sword. He was always by her side, caring for her and protecting her. If nothing unexpected happens, he would have married her. It was during this year, when she followed Yen Lin, she unexpectedly met Shen Jie, Prince of Linji, who came to visit Yen Lin. At that time, she didn't know Shen Jie's identity. But when Yen Lin met this gentle and elegant young man in fine clothes, the first thing he blurted out was, "Why did you come out?" "What is Yen Lin's identity?" In the Marquis of Yongyi's mansion, which is comparable to the Zhao family, the heir who was appointed by the emperor a long time ago was very popular in the palace. Wherever he went, others have to respectfully call him young Marquis. There were not many people who could make him use the formal word you. Jiang Xuening, who always wanted to be the empress in her previous life, secretly took Shen Jie to heart. After careful inquiries, she found out that Shen Jie was the Prince of Linji. In addition, there was a rumor in the capital that the emperor had no children and wanted to make Shen Jie the crown prince. So the original unintentional contact became an intentional one. Later, something happened in the Marquis of Yongyi's mansion, and she got her wish and married Shen Jie. Within 2 years, the emperor died of illness and passed the throne to Shen Jie, and she became the empress. However, although Shen Jie grew up in the palace, he was different from his other brothers. He was too kind-hearted to the point of being docile, and too gentle to the point of being cowardly. Although he had skills, he couldn't bear to use them on others. As a result, even the civil and military officials in the court could not restrain him, so the newly appointed prince, Grand Tutor Shi Wei, had to handle and negotiate for him. In the end, he was poisoned and killed. Jiang Xuening had been under house arrest by Yen Lin at that time, and she couldn't even see him for the last time. A person who is too kind cannot be an emperor. This was the only revelation that Jiang Xuening could gain from Shen Jie's tragedy in her previous life. Now she happened to be reborn at a time when she had just met Shen Jie, so luckily she wasn't too deeply involved. In this lifetime, she must avoid entering the palace. Kunning Palace was her tomb. The room was simply decorated but elegant. The slightly cool air of early autumn still had the smell of last night's alcohol, which had faded a little. From outside the closed window, there was the faint sound of noisy activity from the distant market. Yen Lin was still holding the sword in his hand. Although he was a teenager, the clear lines of his waist and back could be seen. When he pursed his lips and didn't smile, he looked quite impressive. He ignored Shen for the time being. He turned around, lowered his eyebrows, but still showing a chill in his eyes and eyebrows, and asked coldly, "Which hand did he use to touch you?" Ning finally recovered from the trance of realizing that she was reborn. The young man's eyes and brows, as bright as the morning stars, were right in front of her. They had not yet been soaked in the pain of the Yan family's misfortune, nor had they been eroded by the darkness of the palace struggles. Clean, bright, and dazzling. It was like the scorching sun hanging in the sky. But his question, it seemed as if he would chop off Shen's claws if she answered. Cold sweat broke out on Jiang Xuning's forehead, and she quickly held his arm. No, it's nothing. It was just a misunderstanding. Just blame me for having a nightmare and being possessed. I didn't understand the situation as soon as I opened my eyes. I thought Mr. Shen was a bad guy, so I hit him in panic. Put down your sword quickly. Be careful not to hurt anyone. Yanlin frowned. Really? After Shen heard Jiang Xuning's words, he thought to himself that he was unlucky. But after all, young Master Jiang is Yanlin's friend. Although his status and position are far different from his, can he argue with him just because of a slap? It's really unbecoming of a gentleman. But Yanlin's disbelieving look really made him dumbfounded. You still don't trust my character? Don't say that I didn't mean to offend you. Even if I really did offend you, can you really cut off my hand? He was the Prince of Lindsay, a noble man. But unexpectedly, Yanlim looked at him quietly for a moment, neatly sheathed his sword, and said firmly, "I can." Shen's eyelids twitched, and he immediately looked up at him. Yanlin turned around and looked at Jiang Xuning. His voice, which was just cold, became softer, as if the accumulated ice and snow had suddenly melted. "Are you okay? You drank so much last night when I wasn't paying attention. Shall I take you back home?" When Jiang Xuning heard the words "I can," she couldn't help but think of her previous life. After Yanlin returned to court, he joined Shi Wei, and together with Shi Wei, he sidelined Shen. Soon after, Shen was poisoned to death. In her previous life, she thought it was probably Shi Wei who did it. But now, she felt that it might have been Yanlin. When she was young, she took such affection for granted. But now that she had been reborn, she realized how precious it was. Young people do not know how to conceal their sincerity. If they like someone, they want to keep him, her, by their side. If they care about someone, they want to express it completely. And they wish they could hold the person in their hands all the time. It was a pity that she didn't deserve such love. Jiang Xuning stared at him blankly and forgot to speak for a moment. Shen noticed something subtle and suddenly said, "Master Shi is going to give a lecture in Wenwar Hall today, and we have to go. At this hour, shouldn't you come with me to the palace?" Jiang Ning finally reacted at this time. Of course, she had to go back home. But after being reborn, her mind was in a mess and needed to be sorted out. She was unwilling to be sent back to the mansion by Yanlin, so she said, "The palace affairs cannot be delayed. Yanlin, I also want to go back by myself today." She was known for her indulgent temperament. Half of it was because her father, Minister Jiang, felt guilty and did not dare to supervise his daughter, who was brought back to the capital. The other half was because of Yanlin's indulgence. So she wanted to go back by herself. No further explanation was necessary. Sure enough, Yanlin really didn't ask why, as if he had already been accustomed to her willfulness and indulgence. After all, Ning was the apple of his eye, so he just said, Then I will ask Qingfeng to follow you from a distance. Qingfeng is one of his 2 personal attendants. Jiang Xuening wanted to refuse, but seeing his expression swallowed her protest and obediently nodded. The more Shen Jie looked at them, the more he felt that something was wrong with these 2 people. He is a naturally good-tempered person and is not easily angered. To be fair, he also had a very good appearance. Especially when he smiled, his eyes curved slightly, and he looked as elegant and gentle as a piece of beautiful jade. After Jiang Xuening married him, they never had a quarrel. The reasons were simple. Firstly, Shen Jie had a very good temper. Secondly, he didn't really like her. Thirdly, she didn't like him either. She just liked the position, so nothing else could bother her heart. In the eyes of uninformed people, it could be regarded as the emperor and the empress are in harmony, right? No matter how you look at it, she was the one who was rude first. Jiang Xuening looked at him apologetically. I was the one who offended just now and even hurt Mr. Shen. I hope Mr. Shen won't blame me. I will serve you a drink in the future to apologize to. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't angry after getting slapped for no reason. Moreover, Yanling is very domineering. But when Jiang Xuening said this, her voice was soft, and her eyes looking at him seemed as if they had been soaked in spring water. The slender young man had a pink face, red lips, and white teeth. Perhaps because he was still young, the contours of his face were still very soft, which made his facial features more delicate. He had a kind of beauty that was difficult to distinguish between male and female. Shen Jie didn't know why, but couldn't get angry all of a sudden. He never liked to make things difficult for others, so he smiled and said, "Your hand was not heavy. But since that's what you said, I won't be polite. I'll wait for young Master Jiang to treat me to a drink another day." Yanling suddenly wanted to beat this guy up. His face was cold, and he only said a few words to Qingfeng before he gathered himself together and left with Shen Jie. On the way back to the palace, Shen Jie recalled all the details in the inn before, and he always felt that something was not right, especially when Yanlin defended the young Master Jiang and drew his sword and pressed it on his neck. Thinking again, that young man was slender and had an outstanding appearance. Shen Jie frowned slightly, thinking that he was a few years older than Yanlin, and that he should still remind him of some things. So he lifted the carriage curtain and said, "Ahem, Yanlin. Although some scholars in the capital are quite fond of men, and the young master of the Jiang family is indeed good-looking, but you are the heir to the Marquis of Yongyi Mansion, and your future marriage—" Shen Jie was riding in a carriage. Yanling, however, rode a horse and walked alongside the carriage. Both the horse and its rider were magnificent. But after hearing his words, his face turned dark. "Your Highness, I don't like men." This time it was Shen Jie's turn to look at him with suspicion. "What do you think of that cousin from the Jiang family?" "She is not some cousin of the Jiang family." Yanling also remembered what had just happened, especially the way Jiang Xuening looked at Shen Jie, which made him feel uncomfortable. A hint of thought flashed across his dark eyes. The young man, who was worried, suddenly said to Shen Jie beside him, "She is the second daughter of the Jiang family." Cough, cough. Shen Jie, who had just picked up a cup of tea in the carriage, choked. He was stunned and simply couldn't believe what he heard. You actually." Yanling didn't think anything was wrong. He was on horseback. His black robe made him look even taller. At this moment, he only said, "She loves prosperity and freedom." So I took her out to play. Your Highness treats me like a brother and a friend. I told her identity today because I want Your Highness to know that she is a girl. It's not surprising that Your Highness did not know in the past. Now that Your Highness knows about it, he should be more careful and avoid startling her like this morning. Shenzhe nodded subconsciously. Just after he nodded, he felt something was wrong. Aren't you the one who should be more careful? If this gets out, how can a girl get married? The young man's sharp eyebrows revealed a hint of sharpness, and he smiled and said, I will marry the one I favored. Thank you for listening to this chapter. For advance releases of upcoming chapters, you can join me on Patreon. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more chapters, and kindly support this channel on Ko-Fi. The link is in the description below.